Imagine trying to build a global money machine so massive that it requires, like, the borders, the police forces, and the taxpayer dollars of three entire nations just to keep it running.
Yeah, it's a huge undertaking.
Welcome. In today's analysis, we are looking at some truly staggering numbers. And I really want you to picture the sheer scale of what we're about to discuss.
Right, because the scale is the whole point.
Exactly. We're talking $13 billion, 104 matches, 48 national teams.
It's massive.
It is. The 2026 World Cup is gearing up to be this completely unprecedented spectacle. And the mission of today's analysis is to explore how the world's biggest sporting event, well, it isn't just a tournament anymore.
No, not at all.
What we're really looking at is the architecture of an entirely new kind of global economy.
And it's designed from the ground up to be exactly that. But what's truly fascinating here is the hidden consequence of that expansion.
The hidden consequence.
Yeah. When you look closely at the numbers, you realize we aren't just looking at more countries kicking a ball on a pitch. We are looking at a really aggressive, calculated expansion of exactly how much football can be packaged and, sold.
I mean, I hear you on the corporate side, but wait, hang on. If I'm a fan, the whole public relations narrative around 2026 is that it's the most inclusive in history.
Right, the inclusion angle.
Yeah, and honestly, I love that angle. 48 teams means you have more countries involved, you have more flags flying.
It's a great story.
Right, like, if I'm from a smaller nation that has historically never qualified, I don't care about the business side. I'm getting to see my country's hero moment on the global stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So isn't more football just inherently better for you, the fan?
I mean, it is a phenomenal story, and that representation absolutely matters. The emotion you're describing is very real.
Right.
But if we switch lenses to the business reality, a completely different picture emerges.
Okay, what does that picture look like?
Well, going from the traditional 64 matches to 104 matches wasn't just FIFA deciding to gift the world more football out of the goodness of their hearts.
I mean, I didn't think it was charity, but...
Right, it was a structural necessity to create more inventory. You have to stop thinking of a 90-minute match as just a game.
What is it then?
You have to start viewing it as a highly engineered broadcast block.
Okay, unpack that for me. Because a football match is just two halves of 45 minutes. How is that an engineered broadcast block?
Think about everything that surrounds those 90 minutes. The match itself is just the anchor.
Okay.
The broadcast block includes the sponsored pregame shows, the exclusive digital highlight clips that are sold to social media platforms, the highly segmented ticketing tiers.
Luxury suites.
Exactly, the luxury hospitality suites, and the massive data capture operations.
Wait, data capture?
Yeah, when you use their app to buy a ticket or order a drink or enter the stadium, they're building a consumer profile. FIFA isn't just organizing a sporting event. They are building a massive interconnected content supply chain.
So they're basically slicing up the anticipation, the aftermath, and the digital footprint.
Exactly. I mean, the best way to understand the modern World Cup is to compare it to a major international airport.
An airport. Okay, I'm listening.
The matches themselves, those are just the airplanes.
Oh, right. And airlines notoriously operate on razor-thin margins, like the flight just gets you there.
Precisely. The flight is essential, but the real sustained money is made inside the terminal.
Like the premium lounges you pay an annual fee to access.
Yeah, and the fast-track security lanes. It's the $50 daily parking, it's the overpriced retail, and the food courts.
Ah, I see.
The football is the flight, but the surrounding system, the terminal, is the actual business. By expanding to 104 matches, they aren't just flying more planes.
They're drastically expanding the terminal. That makes a lot of sense. They are monetizing the ecosystem around the event, not just the event itself.
Right.
But that brings up a really interesting question. With all the entertainment options out there, why are broadcasters and sponsors willing to pay such astronomical sums for this specific type of inventory?
It's a valid question.
I mean, we live in a streaming world. I can watch almost anything, anytime I want.
You can, but that is exactly why live sports are so incredibly valuable right now. They are practically the last remaining pillar of real-time communal viewership.
Oh, I completely get that. Think of it like the difference between casually binging a Netflix show on a lazy Sunday versus the absolute panic of trying to avoid spoilers on social media during a live finale.
Exactly, of like a massive cultural shift.
Right. If you don't watch it live, the experience is ruined. It feels like FIFA is basically monetizing that exact FOMO, that fear of missing out.
They're monetizing the expiration date of the excitement.
That's a good way to put it.
A movie or a prestige television series can sit in your queue for months. Its value remains relatively stable, but a knockout match cannot wait.
Because the entire value is in not knowing the outcome.
Exactly. Its entire financial and emotional value peaks in the 2 hours before the final whistle. The second the result is known, the value of that broadcast plummets.
Wow. Yeah.
Broadcasters are paying billions because they are buying that raw, unfiltered urgency. They are buying the absolute guarantee that millions of people will be glued to a screen at the exact same second.
And because they've expanded to 48 teams, they are capturing the urgency of entire new populations.
Yes, but it's not just more countries, is it? It's the geography of where this is happening.
Right. When you add more countries and you spread the tournament across a massive continent, you add more time zones.
Exactly. You suddenly have the ability to transform a simple, localized tournament into what the industry calls a highly modular media grid.
A modular media grid. Okay, so explain the mechanics of how that actually works for a broadcaster.
Well, because the 2026 tournament stretches across the United States, Mexico, and Canada, organizers have this unprecedented canvas of time zones.
Right, coast to coast.
They can schedule an afternoon game in New York or Miami that hits perfectly during prime time in London and Paris.
Oh, wow.
And on the exact same day, they can schedule a night game in Los Angeles or Seattle that catches the lucrative morning commute in Tokyo and Seoul.
That's incredibly calculated.
It's modular. They can snap different matchups into different regional slots to maximize global ad revenues simultaneously.
Looking at these numbers and hearing you break down this media grid, it feels like FIFA is treating this as a massive test run.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if they pull this off, the Olympics or even leagues like the NBA and the NFL are going to copy this exact blueprint, aren't they?
If the revenue projections hold up, without a doubt, this is the new gold standard for global entertainment.
But facilitating this massive modular media grid brings us to a very harsh physical reality, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Because you can beam the broadcast into the cloud, but the actual infrastructure has to sit on the ground. And for 2026, that burden is stretched across 3 host nations.
Each bringing a very specific strategic asset to the table.
Right, so let's break down that geographical recipe. The U.S. obviously brings these massive, multi-billion-dollar NFL stadiums that are practically pre-built for VIPs.
And a deep bench of corporate advertisers.
Exactly. Then Mexico brings this profound, deeply rooted, historic football culture.
Unmatched passion.
And Canada brings high-income cities and a rapidly growing domestic demand for the sport. On paper, it sounds like an absolute dream team for the organizers.
It is a dream team for the organizers. But here's the major revelation of today's analysis, and it's something you really need to grasp to understand the modern sports economy.
What's that?
FIFA is able to scale its media and sponsorship rights globally. They collect the billions from the international broadcasters. But the physical costs of hosting remain intensely local.
Wait, meaning the host cities themselves are left-footing the bill for the privilege of hosting?
Yeah. But what are they actually paying for? I mean, the stadiums are already built.
The stadiums are built, sure, but a World Cup isn't just a game in a stadium. It is a month-long siege on a city's infrastructure.
A siege. That's a strong word.
It's accurate, though. The cities bear the burden of transport upgrades to move hundreds of thousands of people. They pay for massive, unprecedented policing and counterterrorism operations.
Which can't be cheap.
They're not. They also fund emergency planning, hospital readiness, and the construction of massive downtown fan zones.
Wow.
Just to give you a very specific, very sobering number in Canada, public estimates put government support for their share of the tournament at over 1 billion Canadian dollars.
$1 billion.
Yes. And that's just for their share.
Wait, for how many matches?
Just 13 matches.
Let that sink in for a second.
It's-
$1 billion taxpayer dollars for 13 matches.
It's wild.
Think about what $1 billion means to a local municipality. Think about how many potholes that fills, how many schools that funds, or how many local transit projects that completes.
Exactly. And it's being burned on 13 soccer games. If hosting is such an incredible financial risk, with a massive localized cost, why do cities keep fighting tooth and nail to host these games?
It's a great question.
Like, what is the municipal logic here? Are they blinded by the prestige?
Prestige is a powerful drug. It truly is. Municipal leaders are constantly pitched on the promise of explosive global tourism, massive job creation, and a huge boom in local spending.
The classic mega event titch.
Right. It's the promise that the world will be watching your city and that attention will magically translate into economic growth.
But does it? Because, I mean, I have to imagine a headline forecasting 1 million tourists doesn't automatically equal actual cash in the registers of local
It
businesses.
rarely does, at least not to the level promised. There's a well-documented economic reality with these mega events. Well, first, you have the substitution effect.
Okay.
Locals who would normally spend money downtown stay home to avoid the crowds, so you're really just swapping local dollars for tourist dollars.
That makes sense.
Second, the fan behavior for a World Cup is highly unpredictable. Fans might hold off on booking hotels until they see if their team advances.
Oh, right, because it's a knockout tournament.
Exactly. Or in a sprawling North American tournament, they might just fly into a city for the day of the match, buy a hot dog at the stadium, and fly out the next morning.
Leaving no real economic footprint.
Exactly. The global success of the broadcast can, and often does, run completely parallel to a severe local strain on the host city's economy.
So the city pays to build the terminal, but FIFA keeps the profits from the flights, the lounges, and the parking.
That's the reality.
This naturally brings up a tension that I think everyday fans feel very acutely. When we look at this massive local financial burden stacked against this highly engineered global profitability, who is the real villain here?
Right. Who is this event actually for?
Exactly.
This is exactly where we run into what analysts call the villain frame. When fans log on to buy tickets and see astronomically high prices, or they see luxury suites going for hundreds of thousands of dollars, the immediate visceral reaction is that the system is broken.
Yeah, they feel the game has been stolen from them.
Exactly.
And frankly, it's hard to argue with them. For the everyday fan, they just want to buy proximity to history. They want to say they were there.
Of course.
But this structure threatens to turn the people's game into an exclusive luxury broadcast product. It reminds me of when your favorite underground indie band finally blows up and plays massive stadium tours.
That's a really good comparison.
Right. On one hand, you're thrilled for them. You want them to succeed, fund their art, and pay their rent. But suddenly, you go to buy a ticket, and the front row is $2,000.
And it's filled with corporate VIPs staring at their phones.
Yeah. Entertaining clients. Meanwhile, the original fans who built the culture in the dive bars are completely priced out. Is FIFA irreparably damaging the culture of the sport by doing this?
That is the defining question of this entire endeavor. And I want you to really pause and consider this, because the answer is incredibly complicated.
Okay.
There is a very serious, very uncomfortable counterargument to the villain frame.
Which is what? How do you defend pricing the everyday fan out of the stadium?
You defend it by looking at where a large portion of that $13 billion engine actually goes.
Okay, where does it go?
This massive, ruthless commercial scale is exactly what funds global development. FIFA redistributes a significant amount of this revenue to its member associations.
Oh, I see.
This is the money that finances youth football leagues in developing nations. It's the money that builds pitches, funds coaching clinics, and subsidizes women's football leagues that operate at a loss.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it builds crucial infrastructure for smaller federations around the world that has zero domestic broadcast revenue to rely on.
Wow. Okay, so that is a massive paradox.
It really is.
Without the $2,000 corporate VIP ticket in Miami, there is no funding for a youth academy for little girls in a developing country. You literally need the corporate machine to fund the grassroots dreams.
Exactly. It is a profound tension. It is expansion and monetization on one side, development and commercialization on the other.
That's wild to think about.
High ticket prices in North America aren't a sign that FIFA's model is broken. From an economic standpoint, they are proof the model is working perfectly.
Because it extracts maximum capital from a wealthy market.
Yes, to subsidize the sport globally. But as you pointed out, the cost is the soul of the stadium experience. It is both a massive opportunity and an unprecedented stress test for the culture of the sport.
So, to bring today's analysis to a close, we have to look at the 2026 World Cup for what it really is, a prototype.
Absolutely.
It is the ultimate test of expansion and monetization. We've seen that the real product being sold here isn't just a 90-minute football match.
No, it's a meticulously controlled global moment.
Exactly. They have figured out how to package the anticipation, the data, the local infrastructure, and the international broadcast rights into this flawless machine.
And the airport terminal is only getting bigger, more complex, and more profitable.
The planes are flying, but the real business is happening all around you.
Visible only if you know exactly where to look.
Which leaves us with one final lingering thought for you to chew on after you finish listening.
What's that?
If 2026 proves that turning a raw, unpredictable global passion into a premium modular inventory works perfectly, how long until every single live event you love, from the Olympics right down to your regional sports leagues, adopts this exact same blueprint?
It's a scary thought.
It is. We've seen that urgency is the last true commodity in a streaming world. So as these terminals expand and the prices skyrocket, will the future of experiencing live history belong only to the highest bidder? Thank you so much for joining today's analysis. We'll catch you next time.